just want to make sure that people out there in Facebook land can hear us okay. And I think Nate's checking. Yep. Okay, good.
Recording in progress.
Okay, it's 5:30 p.m. The September 5th meeting of the Board of Works is hereby called to order. Please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Treasurer Aldrich, will you call the roll?
Spencer Kingery,
Present.
Brianna Maxwell,
Present.
and Anita Werley.
Present. The minutes of the August 21st meeting are presented for review. Are there any additions or corrections? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 I am an aye. The minutes are approved as read. The minutes of the August 29th special meeting are presented for review. Any additions or corrections?
I have none. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Minutes are approved as read. Next order of business are the regular claims for September 5th totaling $545,973.62. Is there a motion to approve the claims?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any questions?
Nope.
All in favor of approving the claims for $545,973.62 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I am an aye. Motion carries. Audrey Ward from Delphi Main Street is here, and she would like to present the plans for this year's trunk or treat.
Yes,
Audrey?
Audrey Warder, hi, like she said, Delphi Main Street. This year we would like to request parking for the trunk or treat, the second annual. That is October 28th. We would need it shut down from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're requesting courthouse side of Washington, courthouse side of Franklin, and then closing down Market between Maine and Franklin. Excuse me.
So basically, like, when we do doing Delphi and the farmer's market,
Yes,
it's
sir.
the same thing.
Yep. Except for adding Washington.
I'll ask the question, have you talked to the businesses to make sure 3 o'clock is fine to shut down? Is that
It's a Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay, and that would also be pretty much the sidewalks as well, correct?
Yeah.
So Market Street closed down on both sides?
Yes, ma'am.
So the street itself would be closed?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there something else going on that day like there was last year?
Methodist Church is having theirs. We've moved up our time from what we did last year to accommodate for that.
So when is theirs going to be?
3 to 5, and ours was
So,
5 to 7.
They won't come downtown. That really that worked well last year pretty much.
If we had been prepared for it, yes. And I believe we are this year, so.
Do you have a rough guess of how many attendees you had last year?
Our best estimate is over 800.
Yeah, it was really nice.
There were a lot of kids.
Questions for Audrey?
Motion to approve the Delphi Main Street request for the trunk or treat for October 28th, 3 to 8.
Second.
Thank you.
Discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 And I am an aye, motion carries. Thank you, Audrey.
Guys.
packet included a site plan and schematics for a retaining wall on the south side of Front Street for the interurban apartments. Retaining wall would be built in the city right-of-way, and it creates a transition from the street level to the apartment building itself, a sloped, I guess graded slope, landscaped going down to the retaining wall, and then that would create a space for patios on the site, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the funding for the retaining wall would come from the combined stack of city funding, ready dollars, to developer funds that are all going into this project. And it would be considered an infrastructure cost, which is what the city's match and ready funding can be used toward. We have Alex Blake from Ironman Properties here. Alex, do you have anything that you'd like to present to the board?
Well, I can speak briefly on that. Is this a good spot?
That's a great spot.
Okay, all right. So, let's see. What all made it into your packet
So the
tonight?
site plan and then the two
Okay.
Schematics.
Okay, all right. So I have, let me go grab the other one of these so everybody can see here. But I have our overall site plan here. I just want to make sure everybody understands the location of the retaining wall and its impact to the project. Let me grab the other one. So the retaining wall runs down the front of the building, and primarily just the length of the building here around the north side, in between Front Street and the building proper. The idea there, what we're trying to do is we're trying to enable the building to maintain a tight street connection. So we don't want to, if we had to sit it back further to accommodate the slope there, it would feel, we believe that it wouldn't feel connected to the city, but more as a, kind of green space setback. So what we wanted to improve the street. We wanted a strong connection, walking connection to the downtown. So to position the building up next to the road, we needed to accommodate this varied slope and the steep slope there. So what we're planning to do there is, as you can see on your handout, is a ready rock retaining wall. So these are pre-engineered concrete blocks that go into that. It's an engineered solution that would capture that retaining wall. We're planning on putting a significant amount of plantings, and it would not necessarily be mowable, but we're going to use decorative ornamental grasses and trees along that slope to prevent erosion. Do you have any questions about it?
Otherwise, we'd still have that sharp drop off.
Yes.
Right, from Front Street to
Mhm.
where the
And one of the design solutions that we put in there is we increase the width. Right now, if you walk down Front Street, it drops straight off. Right there, what we're actually going to do is we're going to widen that there, so there's not only the sidewalk, but past the sidewalk, there's going to be a 6-inch flat portion, which you can see on the drawings there. So that way, it'll actually make that walk down Front Street, which right now is untenable on the south side. Once you get past this current city improvements, it'll actually make that all the way down the front of the building. It'll make that walkable.
questions? Is there a motion to approve the use of the right-of-way for the purpose of the slope, the landscaped slope and retaining wall?
So,
I second.
Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I am an aye, motion carries. Before you get too far away, the interurban apartment is also requesting a parking easement on land owned by the city. The purpose of the agreement is to provide the full number of dedicated parking spaces to meet our zoning requirements of 1.5 spaces per unit. So the 68 units would require 102 parking spaces. Not all of those can be accommodated on the site plan for the parcels owned by, that will be part of the project. And the city has an adjacent lot that abuts the parking area and which is adjacent to Deer Creek. So it's in between the apartment lot and the creek. And the parking easement would provide 30 spaces, 30 parking spaces to the Ironman Properties apartment complex, and then the remaining spaces would be public use spaces, and also there would be a trailhead then that would be right by the suspension bridge. And now there is, I mean, you can pull down there and park, on the gravel, but this will be a much nicer approach to the suspension bridge. So we're in the process of working out I think we have the draft of the purchase agreement, but the legal descriptions for the properties are still being nailed down. Is that correct, Mary?
That's correct, yes.
So this will be presented after this meeting to council. But because this is city property, I want the board works to have a chance to review it and see if you are okay with us proceeding to present this to council for their approval later tonight. So do you have, again, Alex, do you have anything that you would like to share? You probably got the same drawing here, right?
Yeah, if I may, so I can show you on this drawing here where we are. So this boundary that runs along this line right here is the southern boundary of the Deer Creek, parcels owned by Deer Creek. Are owned by Delphi Body Works. The space in between is a right-of-way. You can see the utilities running through here. That's this area here. You can see that. And then Deer Creek sits immediately to the south here. What we're requesting is, and I've requested an updated modernized legal description for this specific piece of parking, which is the south end of the parking, right here, that is just off of our property line here. And then there's a parcel that the city owns that right now there's it's this little piece. There's actually a little wooden shed down there. This is the water building department. And then there's a little wooden shed right there. So we're requesting to improve that location, and we're requesting to also create these improvements as a part of the project there. Is that, before I step away, does that make sense?
So you're just working on that language for this parcel right here?
Exactly. Well,
And
so
then the rest of it is
these
parcels.
points here, just to make sure we're marking out exactly what we're asking for on
And that's still in progress.
that. Yes. Yeah, I have the request out of the surveyors to mark those points.
Any questions, concerns? So if there are no objections, then we'll proceed with the action presented to the council.
I don't have any objection to it.
No, I don't think we need to vote really. It's just the consensus to move it forward to council. So
We'll do this back down.
he'll probably just leave him here for the
Okay,
council.
fair
meeting.
enough, fair enough.
Okay, so Chief Lamar has a proposal to present for a lateral entry policy for the Delphi Police Department. The policy is consistent with lateral policies in other police departments and is seen as a tool to attract qualified candidates to the department. Chief Lamar?
First and foremost, I want to sneak it in real quick. I apologize it wasn't on the agenda, but our new officer was available, so I wanted to pick him up. So this is Darren Dennis. He comes to us from White County Sheriff's Department as a jailer. So I know not everyone was able to be his sworn in, but I wanted to bring him in introduce him to you, and I put him on the spot at the swearing in to speak. Is there anything you'd like to say to Board of Works this evening?
Nothing's really changed. I'm just excited to get to work, honestly, to serve a great community. I'm originally from Carroll County. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. I'm very excited, and it's good to meet you all. Good to see some of you again.
And
Any
there's
questions?
apartments coming half a block away here.
That's what I said, with the courtesy officer position I hear, so.
That's right.
Throwing that out there. Any questions for Officer Dennis before I kick them out of here? You're welcome to
Just
stay, but.
Really happy that you're with us,
Oh.
and how was day one?
Oh, it was a lot. It was a lot out of nowhere, but it was great. I learned a lot.
Good, good.
Good to
Well,
be here.
Welcome.
we're
Well, congrats.
I
Welcome.
appreciate it.
happy that you're
Absolutely.
here, so.
Thank you.
Very good.
Alrighty. Thank you, sir.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, Chief?
Moving on to the lateral entry program, I have print copies just in case you don't have it on the revised packet in front of you. If you want a paper copy, let me know. Happy to provide one.
Yeah, you might,
Okay.
I think.
I have it pulled up.
Might as well. Leanne, would you like one?
I was checking, I thought I had one in the packet.
We'll give you just in case.
Yeah.
So as the mayor said, this is to attract qualified applicants. So as of right now, Officer Dennis doesn't have the academy yet, so he'll go through a field training process. The academy is slammed with new officers. It used to be first signed up, first in to the academy. Now they're having to triage it based on who's closest to their 1 year of service and needing the academy. So there's a good chance he'll go through our FTO program, be out on his own, and then go to the academy. So lateral program hopefully entices applicants who have the academy to come to our department. They already have the 15-week academy, so we're not losing them for 15 weeks. In theory, they're out on the street, self-sufficient on their own quicker. And in order to do that, you need to offer some benefits. So an officer that's put in years of service at another department, to entice them to come here, we have to offer some incentives. Earlier today, when I was researching some lateral policies, there's some offering $5,000 and $10,000 sign-on bonuses. We're not quite there yet. We're going to try this. Vacation incentives, specialty pay is covered, longevity pay. Thanks, Leanne, for your help on that part of it. An exception to the take-home vehicle policy, probationary period and pay. So it's basically honoring their ability to come in and be out on their own and self-sufficient much sooner, and honoring their years of service that they have put in at another department to get them to come to our department. And I will let you review that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try and answer them.
The longevity and vacation is on par with what we currently offer our officers now, right?
Yes, I took that from the salary ordinance that Leanne provided to me.
You'll have to forgive me, I don't know what FTO stands for.
Field training officer.
Okay.
So even if an officer comes from another department, every department's going to have their own policies, procedures, ways of doing things, orientation with the city. So even if it's a 15-year experienced officer, they would still go through a field training officer period, where they're kind of acquainted with our city and our department.
So were they on duty with another officer then at that time during that full period? Is that
Yes, sir.
normally they do?
Yeah, and that helps them learn our city and policies and procedures, but it also gives our field training officers time to evaluate them and make sure that they're on par with what we demand.
So how confident are you that this is going to help?
It is a step in the right direction. I've been asked, I started here July 17th, I've been asked probably 10 times what our lateral policy is. So there's interest. It's just hard for someone to be starting over anyways on seniority. It's hard to completely start over and just negate the years of service in. So this kind of recognizes those years of service without too much of a financial impact on the city.
So I think the procedure would be that the Board of Works would review policy and if you will approve it. And then because it does have some financial impact as well in terms of the budget, we would also ask council to approve it. But ordinarily, police matters would come before the Board of Works, and this is, so. Is there a motion to approve the policy?
I do have one, before we make the actual motion itself, I do have one amendment I'd like for you to put in for the procedure for the, in order to qualify for the 1.4. Not only applicants must not have been terminated by their previous employer, but I want to make sure you, sure this be screened out in the background process, but also a stipulation of no major disciplinary actions, and then you can define the major disciplinary actions besides just the termination. Whether you see how fit, 30-day suspension, 10 days, whatever, it'll fit. But
So no major disciplinary action. I guess I would look to you as you're bringing it up. What would you like to see there?
anything over a 10-day suspension.
Okay.
Obviously not the ones pending termination because that would already be included in there. But just to make sure that we're not getting applicants that are going to be bad apples that aren't exactly gone yet from a previous department but are trying to find their way out.
And I do like 10 days since that's a threshold within our own policy and procedure. Okay.
Motion approved as amended.
Second?
And I'll have that amendment added in new copies to provide to the council at the next meeting.
Okay. Motion second, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I am an aye. Motion carries to approve the lateral entry policy as amended.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Chief, while you're not quite away yet, you want to update us on the car situation?
As far as the one that was purchased,
When it was purchased and what you know about the ones that are on order?
so we purchased a vehicle basically with the fourth vehicle that was tentatively approved, then taken away. It left us short on take-home vehicles. So the way the rotation works out, we were basically going to have to figure out a way to tell probably 2 to 3 guys that they weren't going to get take-home cars. So spoke with the mayor, spoke with Leanne, and found a cheaper option. The vehicle I know that you approved previously, so went and picked that up, got it back, took it to Complete, and they gave it a clean bill of health. Only thing that needed was an air filter and a license plate light. So those are done, and it's since been taken to the outfitter where it's getting radio, computer stand. We already have a printer and scanner and computer that Sergeant Deckard got through a grant through e-ticket. So hopefully that car will be fully up and operational in the next 2 weeks. Hopefully, depends on parts. I do not have an update on the Explorers. They allegedly were assigned VIN numbers late July, early August, and were going to be built early August. So they switched the whole plant over from making civilian Explorers to police Explorers. And if you've ever seen the parking lot at Subaru, there's thousands of cars out there, and that's what it looks like up in Chicago. So at some point, assuming those cars are built, they'll get loaded probably onto rail car, if not semi, shipped down to Bloomington. Once Bloomington goes through the vehicles and gets them ready for us, then we'll be notified and can go get them. And then they would go to the outfitter to get parts ordered and get that going. So apologize I don't have an update on build status. A lot of times whenever we talk to them, they log into a system and we typically don't have any news. Sometimes no news is good news. Hopefully that's the case with these.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last thing to mention on cars, working with a grant company, we've found that there is not a grant available that pays for an entire car that exists. USDA historically will pay up to about $25,000, so pay for basically half of one car, but in exploring grants, that's what I found so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board comments or requests?
I don't know.
Clerk Treasurer Alder? Any public comments or requests? Yes.
I wondered, with the new police car, what are the extra costs? I see that $13,900 on the claims was spent for the vehicle. I assume this was. So what else? What are the other costs?
So
I know that there's
it's
outfitting.
the outfitting.
Yeah.
And what is your estimate on that?
So on outfitting, so computer stand, I'm not sure if it will get a radar yet. Radio, we're estimating under $5,000, and I won't have those true costs. So basically, they have some used parts. I've asked for any used parts they can put on it. This will mostly be a vehicle for me, so trying to keep costs as low as I can for that.
So are there extra lights? Is there a bar across the top? That kind of thing? Placards and
So
stuck
the
on
vehicle was
stuff?
purchased,
Mhm.
one of the reasons it was purchased is it's outfitted. So it has lights on a push bumper, both forward and side facing,
Okay.
lights within the headlights, a visor light in the windshield, visor light in the back window, more flashing lights in the taillights, console, siren, and then it's also got a full prisoner cage already installed in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got quite a bit of outfitting already done.
Mm-hmm.
The red side of the light bar had 3 of 6 modules that weren't functioning. We're hoping they have a used light bar where they can just replace those modules. If not, if they have a light bar sitting around that we can kind of Frankenstein one together, honestly, we're going to do that, keep costs down.
Are you planning to paint it or anything like that?
No, it's a white vehicle, and our
It's
new
a white
Explorers
one.
on order are also white.
Mhm. So they're just going to put Delphi Police Department on the sides or something?
So there's some talk of new graphics for the police cars.
Mhm.
So this car won't get striped until we work that out. My hope is to work with a class at the school to maybe help us design new graphics for the squad cars. That's yet to be hashed out.
Yeah.
But this car won't be striped until that decision is made. That way we're not laying vinyl on it, having to peel it back off and lay more vinyl on it. And it could stay unmarked. I don't know specifically what the plan is yet. If you've seen in recent social media posts with school zones, we actually have citizens requesting unmarked vehicles. They want unmarked vehicles in the school zones, so have to take some of that into account.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We are adjourned at 5:58 p.m.